Yo, what's going on, everybody? I want to review two trades that I took today on June 23rd, 2026. So, let's get straight into it. So, first off, I think the context is important here. Coming into the day, we sold off over 800 points going into the New York session, as you can see. Now, why is that important? The market doesn't move straight down and it doesn't move straight up, right? So by the time we get to the New York Open and we're down 800 points, the market needs to take a breather. Like, the odds of us continuing to push down right at the open are very, very slim. Data shows you when we have large sell-offs overnight, the vast majority of the time, we're going to have a significant pullback at the open, at the New York Open. It's always a super aggressive push up the vast majority of the time after a large sell-off overnight. So, coming into the day, I was expecting this bounce, right? And it tends to happen exactly like this, right? At the open, price tends to dip really hard to the downside, then it aggressively reclaims pre-market low, and we have a ripper. And that's exactly what happened. Now, my first trade of the day was when we had this push up here, right? I'm not going to chase this long up here, right? I need a pullback. So once I saw price right here on this 5-minute candle open at 9:45, when I saw price dip down right here, and what did it bounce? The opening print right here, which is the price that the New York session opened at on the NASDAQ, which is 29,719. Price came, and oftentimes the opening print has to act as a level of resistance or a level of support. In this case, it acted as a level of support. So price came down, bounced the opening print, and put in what? A higher low in relation to this initial low here, which is now showing you, once we put in that higher low, that's a higher low for continuation to the upside potentially. So I figured once this candle bounced the opening print, flipped to blue and got back over the 9 EMA, which is this black line here, I went long on this candle flip blue. I went long at right about here at 772, I believe, and call a beautiful move to the upside. I actually trimmed off the majority of my position around the top of this candle. Unfortunately, I stopped at break even, or no, I got stopped in profit actually on my last contract. When price came back, I got stopped out in profit just for this thing to go another 200 points to the upside with no pullback. So unfortunate, but the idea, beautiful trade. We had the higher low off of the opening print for continuation to the upside after this 800 point move down, because the odds of price continuing to push down at the New York session open are really, really low. So that was the first trade. Now the A++ setup of the day, this setup I talked about in my pre-market game plan that I post every single day in my free Discord. The link is in the bio. I said, again, going back to this huge 800 plus point sell-off that we had, I said that I wanted to see price pull back up to VWAP and this zone here I have drawn at 30,053 to 30,090, right? I said that by the time price got up here, I expected VWAP to line up with this zone, and if I saw weakness, I was going to take a short. Now, as you can see, it didn't line up. Price never quite reached this zone, and VWAP was just right beneath the zone. But that's trading for you, right? Not everything's going to be exact, right? It's more of an art sometimes. So, but in general, the idea played out exactly the way I wanted. And by the way, the longer price has moved away from VWAP, by the time price comes back to retest it, the odds of you seeing a reaction at VWAP are super high probability. So the longer price has moved away from VWAP, the more likely you're going to see a reaction at VWAP. And price hadn't touched VWAP since 9:30 p.m. overnight. So that's another reason why I was confident looking for a short when we reached VWAP. And as you can see, we pushed up. Let me go to NQ because it's actually, NQ has the most volume, so you really want to see where VWAP is on NQ. So I actually switched over to NQ to see exactly where VWAP was, and as you can see, VWAP was lower on NQ, right? So I looked at NQ, like right about here actually is the first time I noticed that NQ VWAP was lower, and as you can see, what I noticed was the volume on this 5-minute candle here was really, really low. Look at this. It's the lowest volume of the entire day, showing you that buyers are getting exhausted up here. They're getting exhausted right where price is stalling out at VWAP. So that was my first confirmation. Now the second and final piece of confirmation that gave me confidence to take this short was when price pushed up, swept the high of that previous 5-minute, wicked off of this zone pretty much pushed up to my zone, wicked down and flipped back black. And not only that, but if you look at the 15-minute time frame over here, it did the same thing at this 10:15 a.m. candle opened up on this candle here on the 5-minute. And as you can see, we had, not only did we sweep the previous 5-minute candle, but after this really long push up on the 15-minute, price pushed up, rejected VWAP, swept the previous 15-minute candle high, and flipped black. So seeing that, these two time frames in conjunction, right at VWAP, which I identified as my potential #1 setup coming into the day, I had to go short once this candle flipped back black and call a beautiful move to the downside here into the 9 EMA, taking my first trim, or my only trim, taking out the majority of my position. But again, it was unfortunate because my last micro got stopped out right here in profit. Literally, this little wick that you see on top of this 5-minute candle, price pushed up, stopped me on my last micro before we got an even larger move to the downside here. So unfortunate, but either way, you love to be able to plan your trades beforehand and execute them in real time, live. Oh yeah, by the way, I do this every single day, Monday through Friday, on TikTok Live and soon to be YouTube Live as well. I plan my trades out every single day in the Discord and do trade reviews like this in the Discord every single day, highlighting what I did wrong and what I did right every single day, green or red. So, beautiful trading day, and I will be back tomorrow. Peace.